Welcome to my channel, Old Valuable Chiller, where we are going to deep diving the fascinating world of coins, currency, and numismatics. In today's video, we are going to talk about the 1966 $quarter coin from the United States, a very interesting piece of American history and an essential part of the Washington Quarter series. If you enjoy learning about rare coins, coin values, and the history behind US coinage, make sure you stay with me until the end, because this 1966 $quarter has a lot of secrets, historical significance, and collector interest that make it worth knowing about. The 1966 quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1966, the Washington Quarter had already been in circulation for more than 3 decades, and it had become a true symbol of American money. However, what makes the 1966 quarter especially unique is that it was produced during a very important transition period in United States coinage. Just 2 years earlier, in 1964, the U.S. Mint struck the last circulating silver quarters, which were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. Starting in 1965, due to rising silver prices, the Mint completely removed silver from dimes and quarters. Instead, they began producing copper-nickel-clad coins. The 1966 quarter, therefore, represents one of the early full years of this new clad coinage system. The 1966 quarter weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and features a reeded edge. It is composed of an outer layer made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. This clad composition was designed to make the coin durable, cost-effective, and resistant to the fluctuations of silver prices. While it doesn't contain silver, the 1966 quarter remains very collectible because of its place in U.S. history. On the obverse of the 1966 quarter, we see the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. The word liberty is inscribed above his head, the phrase "In God We Trust" appears to the left, and the date 1966 is shown below. The reverse design, also by John Flanagan, depicts the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, holding a bundle of arrows in its talons, and an olive branch beneath, symbolizing both strength and peace. Around the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. This design remained in use on the Washington Quarter for many decades, until the state quarters program began in 1999. One unusual feature of the 1966 quarter is the absence of a mint mark. Normally, U.S. coins display a mint mark to show where they were struck, such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, all quarters from 1965 through 1967 were deliberately made without mint marks. This was a decision by the U.S. Mint to prevent coin hoarding. During the transition away from silver coins, many people were saving and hoarding coins with mint marks, so the Mint removed them for 3 years. As a result, all 1966 quarters look the same in this regard. None of them carry a mint mark. When it comes to mintage, over 821 million $quarter coins were struck in 1966, which is a very high number. Because of this, most 1966 quarters that you find today in circulated condition are common and generally worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, for collectors, the condition of the coin makes all the difference. A 1966 quarter in circulated condition may not be worth much, but when you find one in higher grades, especially mint state examples graded MS-65 or higher, the value can increase significantly. These coins can be worth several dollars, and in some cases, well-struck coins with excellent luster and eye appeal can fetch even higher premiums. Another area that makes the 1966 quarter exciting is the presence of errors and varieties. Error coins are always a hot topic in numismatics, and the 1966 quarter is no exception. Collectors have identified double-die varieties, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes among the 1966 quarters. These errors can turn an ordinary 25-cent piece into a coin worth many times more. For example, a 1966 quarter with a major off-center strike where the date is still visible can sell for a strong premium. Similarly, a double-die error on the obverse or reverse can add significant collector value. This is why many coin enthusiasts continue to check their pocket change and coin rolls, hoping to discover a rare 1966 error quarter. In addition to circulation strikes, 1966 also featured a special mint set, sometimes called an SMS. Because the U.S. Mint suspended proof sets from 1965 to 1967, they instead issued special mint sets, which contained coins with a higher quality finish than circulation strikes, but not quite the mirror finish of proofs. The 1966 Special Mint Set quarters are particularly interesting to collectors because of their sharp details and satin-like surfaces. These SMS quarters can be worth more than regular circulation strikes, especially in higher grades. Some even show cameo contrast, which makes them more desirable among numismatists. So, what should collectors look for in a 1966 quarter dollar? First, examine the coin's condition carefully. If the coin has heavy wear, it likely has little more than face value. But if it has full details, strong luster, and minimal contact marks, it could be worth grading. Second, always be on the lookout for errors and varieties, as they can make a huge difference in value. Third, if you come across a special mint set coin from 1966, know that it carries a premium, especially in higher grades with strong visual appeal. Even though the 1966 quarter doesn't contain silver, it still has strong historical and collectible significance. It reflects a major change in American coinage, when the nation moved away from precious metal coins to modern clad coinage. For numismatists, this makes the 1966 quarter an essential piece of the Washington quarter timeline. It is a coin that connects the silver era of the early 20th century to the modern circulating coinage that we still use today. If you're a new collector, the 1966 quarter is a great coin to start with. It is affordable, easy to find, and rich in history. For advanced collectors, high-grade mint state and SMS examples offer more of a challenge, and error coins provide an exciting area of search. Whether you're collecting by date, by type, or just for fun, the 1966 quarter dollar deserves a place in your collection. First up, today we are going to dive deep into the fascinating world of United States coins, focusing on the 1967 quarter dollar. The United States quarter dollar, also known simply as the quarter, has a long history, but the year 1967 stands out for a number of important reasons. Collectors, historians, and everyday coin enthusiasts all recognize that 1967 was a transitional time in US coinage. So, in this video, we will carefully explore the details of the 1967 quarter, its history, composition, mintage, design, significance, and its place in coin collecting today. The 1967 quarter dollar belongs to the Washington Quarter Series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features the profile of George Washington on the obverse, or front, of the coin. This design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, and it has become one of the most iconic American coin designs. On the reverse side, the quarter showcases the heraldic eagle, which symbolizes strength, freedom, and the proud spirit of the United States. Now let's talk about what makes the 1967 quarter particularly interesting. From 1965 through 1967, the United States Mint did not produce any mint marks on coins, including the quarter dollar. This means that whether the coin was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, no identifying mint mark was placed on the coin. This decision was made because of a coin shortage that was happening in the 1960s. The U.S. Treasury decided to remove mint marks temporarily in an effort to discourage coin hoarding by collectors, which had become a widespread problem after the transition away from silver coins in 1965. The composition of the 1967 quarter is also significant. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. However, beginning in 1965, the U.S. Mint shifted to a clad composition of copper and nickel due to the rising price of silver. The 1967 quarter is therefore a clad coin, made up of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. This means the coin has no silver content, which makes it different from quarters minted before 1965. The standard weight of the 1967 quarter is 5.67 grams, and the diameter is 24.3 millimeters, with a reeded edge that collectors and everyday users alike are familiar with. When it comes to mintage, the 1967 quarter was struck in very large numbers. More than 1.5 billion 1967 quarters were produced by the United States Mint. This high mintage was necessary to address the coin shortage of the time. Because of this enormous production run, the 1967 quarter is not considered rare in circulated condition. In fact, most examples found today are worth only their face value of 25 cents if they have been used in everyday commerce. However, condition is always important in coin collecting, and there are some special considerations for the 1967 quarter. While the standard circulation strikes of the 1967 quarter are common, there are special mint sets from that year that can be highly desirable. Since the Mint did not issue proof coins for collectors between 1965 and 1967, They instead produced special mint sets, also called SMS coins. These special mint set coins were struck with more care than regular business strikes, and they often display a higher quality finish. Collectors of Washington quarters pay particular attention to 1967 SMS quarters, especially those that show strong details, minimal contact marks, and attractive luster. Another aspect of the 1967 quarter that excites collectors is the possibility of errors and varieties. During such a massive production year, mistakes did happen. Some 1967 quarters can display doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other unusual features. These mint errors can greatly increase the value of a coin, depending on their rarity and visual appeal. For example, a dramatic off-center strike or a clear double die could fetch much more than face value among collectors. Now let's look at the value of the 1967 quarter in today's coin market. In circulated condition, as I mentioned earlier, the value remains at around 25 cents, since billions were made and most are common. However, in uncirculated condition, meaning a coin that shows no signs of wear, the value can be higher. A nice mint state example might be worth $1 to $5, depending on its grade and eye appeal. The real standouts are coins graded in high mint state, such as MS65, MS66, or higher, especially from the special mint sets. Those coins can bring significantly higher prices, sometimes tens of dollars or more, depending on demand. Another factor that influences value is the coin's strike and appearance. Collectors look for sharp details in Washington's hair, a strong eagle on the reverse, and minimal marks or scratches. Luster, which refers to the way light reflects off the surface of the coin, also plays a big role in desirability. SMS coins with deep cameo contrast, where the design appears frosted against a mirrored background, are especially sought after and can be worth much more than regular strikes. The 1967 quarter also carries historical significance because it represents the era when America officially transitioned away from silver coinage. The 1960s were a turning point in U.S. coinage history, and the clad quarter of 1967 is a direct reflection of that change. For collectors who want to own a piece of American history, the 1967 quarter is a must-have addition to their Washington quarter set. It tells the story of changing times, economic decisions, and the mint's response to both public demand and market conditions. Even though the coin is common, it holds nostalgic value as well. Many people who grew up in the 1960s and 1970s remember using these coins in everyday transactions. The 1967 quarter may not contain silver, but it contains memories and history that connect people to an important era in the nation's past. Collectors often appreciate these coins not only for their numismatic value but also for their cultural and historical meaning. For those just getting started in coin collecting, the 1967 quarter is a great entry point. It's affordable, widely available, and easy to find in higher grades with a little searching. Adding both a regular strike and an SMS example can help build a more complete collection. Checking for error coins can also add excitement, since discovering a rare variety among a group of common coins is one of the thrills of the hobby. As we continue to explore the 1967 quarter, it's worth emphasizing the importance of condition, grading, and authentication. Grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition on a scale from poor to perfect mint state. Professional grading services have helped standardize this process, but collectors can also learn to grade coins themselves by studying details such as wear, luster, and strike quality. Proper storage is also essential to maintain the value of a 1967 quarter. Coins should be kept in protective holders, away from moisture and direct handling, to prevent damage over time. The legacy of the 1967 quarter extends into the larger Washington quarter series, which has seen many changes over the decades. From the classic eagle reverse to the state quarters, America the Beautiful quarters, and beyond, the Washington design has remained a central part of U.S. coinage. The 1967 issue sits at the heart of this legacy, bridging the gap between silver and clad coinage, and reminding us of the adaptability of the U.S. Next up today we are going to explore the history, value, and details of the 1971 United States quarter dollar coin. The 1971 quarter is part of the Washington quarter series, one of the most collected coins in American numismatics. This coin carries not only monetary value but also historical importance for collectors across the world. When talking about the 1971 quarter dollar, we need to understand its background, its minting details, its composition, and what makes certain examples rare and valuable in today's coin market. The Washington quarter series began in 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and quickly became a staple in American coinage. By 1971, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for nearly 4 decades. Unlike earlier silver quarters, the 1971 quarter was minted in a copper-nickel-clad composition, which had been introduced in 1965 after the U.S. Mint discontinued the use of 90% silver in quarters. This shift was due to the rising cost of silver and the need to preserve precious metals. Therefore, the 1971 quarter is made of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it a total weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. On the obverse of the 1971 quarter, we find the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Above Washington's head is the word Liberty, to the left the motto "In God We Trust," and at the bottom the year 1971. On the reverse is the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings clutching arrows, surrounded by olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. Above the eagle we see United States of America and E pluribus unum, and at the bottom the denomination quarter dollar. These design features make the Washington quarter an iconic American coin recognized worldwide. Now let's talk about mint marks and varieties. The 1971 quarter was struck at 2 different mints, the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which produced coins with the D mint mark. There were no San Francisco proof quarters made in silver for 1971, only clad proofs, which were part of proof sets. The mintage numbers were quite high. Philadelphia struck over 109 million quarters, and Denver struck over 258 million quarters. Because of these high mintages, most 1971 quarters are considered common in circulated grades. However, collectors look for examples in uncirculated condition, especially coins graded MS65 or higher, where values can rise significantly. One interesting fact about the 1971 quarter dollar is that while most are common, high-quality examples are challenging to find because of the way these coins were produced and handled. Many 1971 quarters suffer from weak strikes, contact marks, and bag marks from the minting process. That means finding a well-struck, lustrous, and pristine example is far less common than the mintage numbers suggest. This is why certified high-grade coins can bring strong premiums at auctions. Another topic collectors are interested in is error coins from 1971. Error quarters can include off-center strikes, doubled dies, planchette errors, or missing clad layers. These types of mint errors are always exciting because they can turn an ordinary coin into something rare and valuable. A 1971 quarter with a major off-center strike, for example, could sell for much more than face value. Similarly, a quarter struck on the wrong planchette, such as a dime planchette, is considered a major mint error worth hundreds of dollars or more depending on its condition. In terms of value, most 1971 quarters in circulated condition are still worth just face value, which is 25 cents. However, in higher uncirculated grades, such as MS65, a 1971 quarter from the Philadelphia Mint might be worth around $10 to $15, while a Denver Mint example could be valued at around the same. The real jump in value occurs in MS66 and MS67 grades, where prices can range from $50 to several $100s depending on the coin's eye appeal and certification. Proof 1971 quarters, struck in San Francisco, are generally affordable, but coins with deep cameo contrast or exceptional surfaces are more desirable to collectors. It's also worth noting the role of the 1971 quarter in the broader context of American coin collecting. For many people, quarters from this era were the coins they used daily, so finding them in circulation today brings back memories of the early 1970s. For younger collectors, the 1971 quarter is an accessible way to start a coin collection because it is widely available, inexpensive in most grades, and part of an important series. This combination of history, affordability, and collectibility makes the Washington Quarter series, including the 1971 quarter, a favorite among hobbyists. When considering the 1971 quarter as an investment, it's important to remember that condition is everything. A circulated coin will always be common, but uncirculated coins with strong luster and few marks have the potential to hold and increase value over time. Collectors often submit these coins for professional grading to establish authenticity and condition, which helps determine market value. Coins graded by services such as PCGS or NGC often command higher premiums in the marketplace. Another fascinating aspect of the 1971 quarter is its place in the transition of U.S. coinage. By the early 1970s, all circulating quarters were clad, and the silver quarters had been completely removed from circulation by collectors and silver hoarders. This means that when you hold a 1971 quarter, you're holding a piece of American monetary history from the era when clad coinage had fully replaced silver. It also represents a time of economic change in the United States, when rising metal costs permanently altered the composition of everyday coins. Collectors also enjoy putting together complete date and mint mark sets of Washington quarters. For someone working on a full set from 1932 to 1998, the 1971 Philadelphia and Denver quarters are essential. While they may not be the rarest in the series, finding high-grade examples that fit nicely in a collection can still be challenging. For beginners who are searching through change or coin rolls, the 1971 quarter is a fun coin to find. While it usually won't carry a high premium, it represents the excitement of coin hunting and the possibility of discovering an error or high-grade example. Coin roll hunting has become very popular among collectors, and the 1971 quarter often shows up in circulation, giving everyone a chance to hold a little piece of history in their hands. As we wrap up, let's remember that the 1971 $quarter coin from the United States is more than just a piece of change. It is part of the story of the Washington quarter, a series beloved by collectors for its design, history, and variety. From common circulation strikes to rare mint errors, from clad proof coins to high-grade certified examples, the 1971 quarter has something to offer every collector. Whether you're just starting your numismatic journey or you're an experienced coin enthusiast, learning about the 1971 quarter enriches your appreciation for American coinage. Now we will explore, and today we are going to talk in detail about the 1972 $quarter coin from the United States, one of the interesting coins from American numismatic history. The 1972 quarter, officially called the Washington quarter, continues the long-running series that started in 1932 when the United States Mint introduced this design to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Collectors, coin enthusiasts, and even people who come across this coin in everyday circulation often want to know about its design, composition, history, value, and collectibility. So in this video I will cover everything about the 1972 $quarter coin in depth. The 1972 $quarter coin belongs to the clad coinage era. From 1965 onward, the United States Mint stopped using silver in quarter coins and switched to a copper-nickel clad composition. That means the 1972 quarter has an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. The weight of the coin is 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge. Knowing these details is important because many people still wonder if the 1972 quarter contained silver, and the answer is no. The last regular issue silver quarters were struck in 1964. The obverse of the 1972 $quarter coin features the portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. The word liberty is inscribed at the top, the motto "In God We Trust" appears on the left side, and the year 1972 is shown at the bottom. On the reverse side, the eagle design still dominates, with wings spread and arrows beneath, along with an olive branch symbolizing peace. The words United States of America and E pluribus unum are inscribed, and the denomination $quarter is written at the bottom. The 1972 quarter was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia produced coins without a mint mark, Denver coins show a small D mint mark on the obverse, and San Francisco produced proof coins with an S mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters in 1972, making this date common in circulation. Denver also produced a large number, while San Francisco coins were primarily made for collectors in proof sets. In terms of value, the 1972 $quarter coin in average circulated condition is generally worth only face value, which is 25 cents. However, for collectors who want coins in higher grades, uncirculated or mint state examples can bring higher prices. A 1972 quarter in MS-65 condition can be worth several dollars, while superb gem coins in MS-67 or higher can be much more valuable, especially if they have strong luster and clean surfaces. Proof coins from San Francisco, particularly those with deep cameo contrast, can also command premiums. Another interesting aspect for collectors is the possibility of errors and varieties in 1972 $quarter coins. Minting errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or other unusual mistakes can make a coin much more valuable to numismatists. Some collectors actively search through rolls of quarters hoping to find these rare errors. The historical context of the 1972 quarter also adds to its appeal. During the early 1970s, the United States was in the middle of economic changes, and coinage was shifting firmly away from silver. This was a time when the clad quarter became fully established, and millions of Americans were using these coins every day. Holding a 1972 quarter today gives a tangible link to that period in American history. Collectors often focus on building complete Washington quarter sets, and the 1972 coin plays its role as part of the clad series. While it may not be rare in circulation, its condition, mint mark, and any special features determine its desirability. If you are starting coin collecting, the 1972 quarter dollar is an accessible and affordable coin to begin with, and it introduces you to the world of numismatics in a simple way. It's also important to properly store coins like the 1972 quarter dollar if you want to preserve their condition. Keeping coins in protective holders, avoiding cleaning them, and maintaining them in a controlled environment will ensure they keep their original surfaces and potential collector value. The Washington quarter design lasted until 1998, when it was replaced by the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That means the 1972 quarter is part of the classic eagle reverse design that many people still recognize and remember. For many Americans, these coins bring back memories of the change they used in everyday life during the 1970s. So, whether you are looking at the 1972 quarter dollar coin from the United States as part of a collection, for its potential value, or simply as a piece of American history, it stands as an interesting and enduring coin. Understanding its details, composition, mintages, varieties, and history allows you to appreciate the importance of this coin. The 1972 quarter remains a common but fascinating piece of circulating coinage, and even though most examples are worth only face value, collectors know that quality, rarity of errors, and special proof issues can turn this simple 25-cent piece into something more valuable.